Welcome, everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about the Caffeine Colosseum deck, which has been running wild all over the Vibes ladder. So basically, the card Colosseum has recently become unbanned because they fixed some bugs with it. And what this card says is players may look at the top card of their deck. Players cannot play cards from anywhere else. Whenever another location enters play, ice this relic. So the idea behind this deck is you basically want to have a blistering fast start, get to 9 fish as fast as possible, and then you drop Coliseum. And so once you've dropped Coliseum, right, all your opponent might have a bunch of cards in your hand, but you're going to have no cards in your hand. And so then from that point on, right, you're both just having a top deck war. And so this deck, first of all, doesn't run any actions besides WhataTwist, which make the top deck war go very well. And secondly, right, typically that'll be enough to kind of close out the game by locking up your opponent. Because even if they plan for answering Coliseum, right, then they won't have any, like it'll be in their hand and they can't actually play it. So they have to like top deck their answers. So it's really hard to prepare for it. I think there's a lot of debate to be had whether this card is good or bad for the game. And I've seen a lot of comments around that. But I think for now, right, what we just want to focus on is how to actually play this deck, but more importantly, how to beat this deck. So I'll be playing some games with it today, but I think during this whole video, I will point out all the places where the deck actually has weaknesses in it. And I think this will help us kind of design ways to beat it. Because as of the time of recording, which is on Sunday morning, this deck is just such a large portion of the ladder. Like I'm facing very many versions of this deck. Now, just like the typical caffeine decks, this deck plays extremely linearly. Like you basically have a pretty straightforward game plan, and that makes it actually easy to build a deck that works well against it. So I think we haven't quite found the best answer yet in terms of like, right, there's lots of decks that can do well against Coliseum, but then they don't do well against a wider field. So anyway, let's talk to the rest of the deck just to understand more how it mechanically works. So first, we have a explosive early game. So that starts with a one drop. So I think there's some debate on what one drop we want to play. I like playing Flying Penguin because then your opponent thinks you might be playing Yum Yum. I think the alternative is Contemplative Penguin. So it's really just about mind games here. I like pretending to be yellow for one turn, just because like let's say your opponent has a card in their hand that's good against yellow. It's like a popcorn penguin, right? Against the or maybe a leaning or yeah, the popcorn penguin, they might not rot it, whereas against caffeine they would rot it. Whereas if you're pretending to be red, they might think you're Bash Globe, and a lot of the cards that are good against Bash Globe are the same ones that are good against caffeine. So I think that's just kind of why I like yellow. But the alternative, I think red has a good argument too, because you're basically spoofing that you might have hit the high note in your hand because there's also a few other red cards. So overall, I think either one is valid. You can also just throw blue in there because there's some other blue cards. I mean, you can even throw purple in there if you really want to put your opponent in a loop. The other early game cards we have is LilWithBalloon. LilWithBalloon is just really nice because unlike Introvert, it can have inspiring story work on it, and if you play a sneaky penguin afterwards, it doesn't deactivate it, and it can work. Yeah. So and 5 vibe is typically enough because your opponent will. There's really not much at 5 vibe on turn two. I guess that means you're tying with some stuff like Lil Singers, but overall, I think Lil Balloon is good for the second two drop. Then in the three drop area, we're playing Sneaky Penguin, which again, this card has a lot of key. This deck has a lot of key cards in it, so filtering for those can be very important. But LilMilkmaid is also just insane. So once this card gets rolling, like if you go like Flying Penguin into LilMilkmaid, there's nothing that can be bigger than it for maybe a few more turns, which lets you really set up your GreenMegaPenguin and your inspiring story. So this is kind of like the win more card, and the Sneaky Penguin is the like, hey, I'm kind of behind looking for the right cards. So I'm playing 3 copies of each. I think there's a debate of how many 3 drops to play. So maybe we could take down a few and also which one to play. The other early game card that I've seen other people play, which I'm not sure I'm fully on board with, is Penguin Who Bakes. So that's the 2 fish green card that basically says when it enters the huddle, get a fishticle. And so this is really a card that's really good when you're behind. Like if you're already losing the vibe check, why not just get the fishticle so you can maybe get the green mega penguin out, or it can help you get the Coliseum one turn earlier. So I think either way, maybe that card is good. I haven't even tried it yet. It just doesn't seem like it works well to me. Like I would rather just play kind of the main winning line, but maybe it's good and maybe I'm wrong on that. Then we've also got in the 4 drop, we've got little introvert or little extrovert. Now, little extrovert is really great with Green Mega Penguin because it's kind of like an inspiring story that stacks on itself. So, right, like in the past, we might have played Hot Rod, but compare this to Hot Rod. Hot Rod boosts your vibe by 1, and that's it. this boosts your vibe by 1 this turn, and 1 next turn, and 1 next turn. So after 3 turns, you're already boosting your vibe um, by 3 total. So it kind of like compounds on itself. I'm only playing 4 copies just because this list is very tight, or it's not very tight. I guess I just have a lot of kind of different cards I'm playing with. And again, this card is completely useless unless you're playing the mirror. Maybe there's some matches where getting your green mega penguin bigger than a bashful, and this could help you do that. So maybe not completely useless, but it's a very mirror focused card. Then I'm also playing in the mid game TinaWhoTears. Now, right, you might say that popping Pete is better. I think yeah, there's some questions on that. I like TinaWhoTears because like let's say that they're playing a leaning tower deck, bouncing the leaning tower is just not quite enough. Like you really need to get rid of it. But if you're in like a more tempo-y matchup, popping Pete is way better because putting an inspiring back in the hand when it's a very tight game, will just basically buy you an extra turn, whereas making it a rod will kind of just accelerate your opponent's fish. So I think this versus Popping Pete, I have 2 copies, right? If you're playing a lot of mirrors, you could play more, or maybe put, yeah, I think there's some debate on this slot as well. Then BounceHouseRod, right? This card. Oh, I'm kind of talking about the utility cards, I guess. We'll talk about the main engine in a second. BounceHouseRod is yeah, I think this card just because you don't have really any real card draw, this lets you at least pick cards from that, and you're often winning the vibe check, which makes Bounce House Rod popular, like good. But it's really not good if you're not winning. So this is a like again, when you're ahead card. So I'm playing a lot of the like when you're ahead cards and just all in on the like aggressive, like hey, I'm gonna get ahead and stay ahead. So, right, if you think that's not the right way to play this deck, which might be the case, definitely cut some bounce houses. I'm playing all 4, but I think generally in most other decks, I only play 3 bounce house just because drawing 2 bounce house in a game is just that second bounce house is very useless. Or not always, but like right because the first bounce house will pick the best card for your situation. So it's kind of like the second bounce house can be difficult to get a good lot of activations out of that are impactful. So I think cutting this down, this would be definitely a slot you could free up. So let's talk. I guess we'll finish the utility cards because there's only one left, which is a LilZoomer. I'm playing 2 copies here. I don't even know. This deck has definitely this card has won me some games, but it's also often becomes a rod. So maybe this gets cut for maybe just extra milkmaid or some more Tinas or something. But in the right situation, because this deck has no actions, you have very little ways to impact the board. So LilZoomer can come in handy, especially if you were ahead. They play something to get ahead, and then on that final turn to get ahead again, or it just can work to close out your position. So the core engine of the deck is basically these 4 cards up here. So we basically have Green Mega Penguin, which basically means says you can't be chosen by anything. So you play Green Mega Penguin, and then you play Too Much Caffeine, which basically says each player flops a penguin, right? The Green Mega Penguin can't get flopped. So on an aggressive curve, it's just really hard for decks to deal with this because they have to board clear it. If they want to board clear it, right, then the Too Much Caffeine will flop their pudge. One thing I will call out is at the time of recording, Mount Fuji is still banned. And this is one of the decks where Mount Fuji is actually pretty good against it because you can actually deactivate Green Mega Penguin with Mount Fuji. So once Mount Fuji comes back, this deck might take a hit as well. And then you've got Inspiring Story just to like help your Green Mega Penguin run. And then you also have a Popcorn Penguin for pretty much a lot of decks. This is just required to keep like yellow under control. So you play with Inspiring Story with that, and then this combo can win you a lot of games. So the very last 2 cards to talk through are Bashful Swordsman and WhataTwist. So I'm running 4 of each. And I think the reason I do this is that this really gives you a secondary flexible endgame package. So let's say they do play Mount Fuji. Well, you can actually unflop your Green Mega Penguin. Or they just play a really big bunkus. You can play Bashful Swordsman. They play Leaning Tower. You can play Bashful Swordsman and start icing their penguins. Or in the mirror match, maybe right, they play Bashful Swordsman, you play your own Bashful Swordsman, and you just put have an inspiring story out or something like that. So overall, I think this is a kind of a medium list. I haven't played that much with this deck, so I'm definitely not like a full expert on it. And on top of that, I think there's still a lot of flexibility. So if you have ideas of how to improve it or cards that I'm missing that are really good in it, let me know. I think one other thing is right. Let's say you don't have Coliseums, so also you might want to actually play 4 Coliseums. I only play 3 because I only have 3. And so there is Lookout Penguin, which basically lets you search for a relic and put it at the top of your deck. So if you only have 1 Coliseum, just play Lookout Penguin, fill the rest of the copies in it, maybe 3 Lookout Penguin, 1 Coliseum, and it should be pretty good. I mean, it's a little more fragile because, like, say they have a Cannonball Penguin or something like that. they might be able to counterplay it. Or if they remove the first Coliseum, you don't have the second one in your deck. But all that being said, um, right, it's early in this new set, so you might not have the epics. And with Lookout Penguin, I've definitely lost games to people playing Lookout Penguin, so it's definitely doable. When it comes to mulligans, I'm still not like again, I'm no expert on this. I think you pretty much want a hard mulligan for Green Mega Penguin, especially in this world where we're playing a bunch of mirrors. So I think you basically look for Green Mega Penguin. If you have it, you get like Popcorn Penguin. Oh, and start. So you want the one drop Green Mega Penguin and like balloons. I think maybe you would keep a caffeine. Like if you have Green Mega Penguin, you can consider keeping a lot of other stuff, and maybe you could consider keeping popcorn. Maybe I think also, like, if you know what your opponent's playing because you just queued into them, then obviously keep the cards that are good in that matchup. So before we jump in, let's just talk about how you can beat this deck, right? The way you beat it is you first need to have an answer for Green Mega Penguin. So that could be again, so that'll be Mount Fuji when it's back. Um, or you have a board clear, or you have something like Tie Game or Statue of Liberty. Now with Statue of Liberty, though, you'll have to make sure you clear out all the other penguins. And this deck still can have some other penguins out, but you're generally pretty tight. Or you do something like Leaning Tower. Like Leaning Tower is this deck can't do anything about Leaning Tower. That's why I'm playing TinaWhoTears, because otherwise Leaning Tower would be very difficult. I guess you could probably do Bashful Swordsman and WhataTwist to help yourself a little bit. Um, but the other thing you can do about Leaning Tower is just play Coliseum, right? Because it's a relic and it removes it. But if you play a Leaning Tower deck, right, you can remove the Coliseum by top decking your Leaning Tower. So right, some sort of Leaning Tower deck with like four Leaning Towers, 4 TinaWhoTears might be good. Some sort of just a different aggressive deck, right? The whole thing is like it doesn't have to be bad that they play Coliseum. Because let's say that you're a deck that would love a Coliseum to be played, but you just aren't going to be at 9 fish, right? So let's say like yellow aggro, for example. If they play a Coliseum and you're playing a yellow aggro list that's basically only penguins with just a few actions, you can basically like chain out like 5 or 6 penguins. So I think Coliseum is a bit of a like it can be a strength that they're going to play Coliseum. You just need to have an answer for Green Mega Penguin without like, you basically have to force them to play Coliseum. So maybe some sort of like yellow deck that's very penguin heavy with the only actions being like put your flippers in yum yum, like something like that. But then of course you're like, oh, I also would want to play frolic maybe. So or and Fuji maybe, but again like Fuji will remove it. So we'll see. I think there are definitely some builds out there, and I think they'll come to light in the coming weeks. So anyway, let's jump into some games and see if this deck lives up to the hype that everyone else seems to think it has based on how often it's on the ladder. All right, so looking at our first hand, so we've got the one drop. Definitely don't need that. I kind of feel like maybe I should keep an inspiring story just because it is very critical in a lot of games. And we have two in our opening hand already, which means there's only two more in the deck. So I'm going to do that. I think that might be wrong. I think maybe we should just hard mulligan for Green Mega Penguin. Okay, so we got Green Mega Penguin. All right, so this is like and we got the caffeine. Okay, so this hand theoretically should be about as good as it can be. What I'm missing is the 3 drop. So, right, if they are able to play um, yeah, so if they play like a 1 drop here and then a 2 drop, like if I can win at least one of the first, if I can win this first vibe check, I can skip turn 2 and then go 4 into 5. So, okay, so we win the first vibe check. So, like, this is where Milkmaid would just be bananas, right? If we play Milkmaid here, Milkmaid would have 6, 7, Milkmaid would be at least 10 vibe, even if they basically, I guess if they play 2 1 drops, it'd be 8 vibe, but it would still win then. And if they just play a 2 drop, like if they played a penguin with balloons next turn, then Milkmaid would be 10 vibe. So either way, that being said, we don't really need Milkmaid. Like let's just say we got Sneaky Penguin, right? We already have our turn 4. So the only nice thing about that is it will get our Green Mega Penguin down 1 turn faster. And there is Milkmaid. So let's see. Okay, so we got the WhataTwist. I guess that'll be the rod. So do we want to play the TooMuchCaffeine? I don't really see. No, the reason we don't want to play it is because if there is the world where we win again, let's say they don't have a 2 drop, then we go straight into Green Mega Penguin. I wouldn't mind taking a stop for a little extrovert because that would just get the machine rolling. And this again, this is where the Flying Penguin is very interesting as a 1-drop, because if the next card they see is LilExtrovert, they'll start thinking I'm some sort of +1 counter deck, maybe. See, oh, yeah, so this is the thing that's sad, where, had we had a 3-drop, we'd be able to play Green Mega next turn, and against okay, so the interesting thing is you'll notice in this list, I'm not playing any Binkus. So Binkus is another card that you could potentially put in this deck. And so let's see. Let's say this is Bisbunk. I don't know if this is Bisbunk. This may also be blue. So Binkus and Bunkus are 2 cards. So I think the Inspiring Story is generally not needed against both Bunkus and against blue. So we'll go for the extrovert. We definitely so one of the reasons we have 4 bounce house here is just like now we really need the Coliseum. So again, what I was saying is against ugh. Okay, so we lose the Coliseum. So it's okay, so this is blue. So okay, so we wouldn't have needed Binkus, so we need Bunkus in this matchup. So against blue, um, hmm, right. If we can play a Coliseum fast enough, then they should just be in a lot of trouble. Maybe I will keep this bounce house to get a second green mega penguin to basically play after the board gets cleared. Although ideally we just win before. So the question is, do we need to run a tech card against blue? Or is this deck just kind of good enough to handle blue on its own? So we'll see. Milkmaid, yeah, Milkmaid would have been nice because it would have just gotten us one turn faster. So we're still looking. Well, now it's a little too late for Milkmaid. So we will clear here. Also, we'll play the caffeine just to lock up the blue wizard penguin. We do need to keep our eye open for tie game and Statue of Liberty. So those are going to potentially be problems for us. So if I have additional, like playing out additional penguins could be interesting to protect the green mega. But I also could have bounce house to have another green mega. So we'll see. I'm at 9, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's going to be two more turns in this game. And so will they be able to play Send It Too Hard? Potentially. So I might need to play this a little slower. Because if they play Send It Too Hard, the good news is I'll have a ton of rods. And so okay, so I'm gonna trap flop the wizard penguin just because I don't know. It probably really doesn't matter. They might have the 3. This might be the 3 wise penguins that returns 2 rods to your hand. If they want to play that card to cut tempo down, they could definitely do that. So we definitely need to play a rod every turn. I mean, with this deck, you have to play a rod. So it's interesting. So I don't think I've played as blue against against. I've played the other side of this matchup with a blue deck specifically designed for this. Shout out to Caution Fun for making that list, and I think I went 1 for 1 in this matchup. So blue definitely can do well, especially and I played those matches terribly because I didn't really understand how the deck was supposed to work. So let's see. So we still just want to basically play a bunch of rods. So this is where Coliseum would be really nice. Okay, so popcorn is going to be really good though because that's going to potentially I can keep them off of the amount of pudge required. So I think I'm going to grab this popcorn with a bounce house. Um, Yeah, because we're not gonna end it's not gonna end next turn anyway. Or, like, if it ends next turn, right, then we can still play everything because we can do Rod, Inspiring Story. But I think just putting pressure on their Pudge is the right move here, because if I, get rid of the blue wizard penguin and the penguin who's okay, I'll be able to, well, A, stop the cards getting iced from penguin who's okay, um, to maybe stay off of 15. But also, again, if they have the 3 wise penguins. So maybe there's a world where I'll ice the penguin who's okay this turn and flop the wizard. So let's see what they play. Next turn, I can get Inspiring Story down, which will protect the popcorn. Yeah, I think I need to. Man, this is. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to stop Ascended too hard, I think. So we will flop the blue wizard penguin. We're just going to start getting rid of these penguins who's okay. The nice news is if they play Send It Too Hard, it's going to yeah, if they play Send It Too Hard, at a very minimum, card advantage wise, they're gonna ice a lot of their own penguins as well. So maybe they have like a bedtime story here to take out the popcorn. That, wouldn't be the end of the world. I don't really see right, because I'm already gonna be at 13 cards in my ice next turn. So I can't really stop Send It Too Hard. Well, I guess one more turn I'll be able to stop at this upcoming turn. I think I basically just need to go and get to 14 rods. So yeah, I mean, I'll just play a rod and play the Inspiring Story. Inspiring Story will also survive. I have the WhataTwist, so if we get into a situation where the caffeine ends up being a problem for me, I can always unflop with WhataTwist. But yeah, this is going to be a bit of a yeah. We'll see if I make it. Okay, so we'll play this, and I'm going to play this as a rod. I really don't see a reason to have it out because if Send It Too Hard comes, right, I'm just going to lose it. And so after the board clears, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'll have 11 permanents. So I'll still be pretty close. The only problem is that my ice will be kind of full. But right, if I drew Coliseum now, for example, like their big hand would mean nothing. So Coliseum would be really good. But how many Coliseums are in my ice? Two. So there's only one left in my deck. So that's definitely unfortunate. So I'm not sure what they can grab here. That's going to be a problem for me. Green Mega Penguin is not really going to be a problem. So yeah, because Green Mega Penguin, right? My Green Mega Penguin, like look how big it is with Loex. Like I have not played Inspiring Story, and it's already gonna be a 12 this turn. So it's almost no wait because I'll up can't reorder. Okay, well luckily the order doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, so we'll flop the wizard penguin again. We'll take out the penguin who's okay. Okay, so the question is, okay, so we're still safe from Send It Too Hard, but they could have like they could have a bedtime story. And a bedtime story would definitely be annoying. So, hmm. Yeah, so bedtime story would be a problem. But if they would have had a bedtime story, they would have played it last turn. Again, this is where the fourth Coliseum in the deck. I definitely like I wish I had another Coliseum in the deck because yeah, the other Coliseum would be super useful. Just because just to have two in the deck out of the last 25 cards. So we'll see. So we didn't play Coliseum. So right again, so even though we don't see Coliseum, you can see how powerful it would be. If I played Coliseum here on that previous turn instead of the Inspiring Story, basically they would just be stuck top decking for the answers. So even if they had Send It Too Hard in their hand, they wouldn't be able to play it. So yeah, with Coliseum, I think this game would have been locked up. Now I'm not really sure because it's going to be right. They'll be able to clear the board next turn, right? Because we have 13 cards in their ice. Penguin who's okay is going to get two more. So we need to really start thinking about what this post board clear world is going to look like. Again, Coliseum would be amazing here, but I only have two left in my deck. So again, if you're running into this matchup and you're having problems, play a bunkus, right? There's definitely lots of tech slots you could make free for a bunkus. So if we had a bunkus here, I would be completely unworried about this because then I would just yeah shuffle everything in. I still think I'm probably okay because right even if they clear the board, um, yeah. So the question is if the card I draw, do I want to play it or do I want to keep it in my hand for the post Coliseum turn? Well, it's a popcorn penguin, so we will definitely play that. And the reason we'll play the popcorn penguin is I might be able to actually keep them off of like they have to play another blue card now. Um, because if they don't play another blue card, they won't even have the pudge to play Send It Too Hard. So, okay, that itself is not going to get them the pudge either. So they would need to play a WhataTwist in order to yeah, so we will be able to okay, so we flop the wizard. and then we remove okay, so even if they had to send it too hard here, they wouldn't be able to actually activate it unless they have a WhataTwist. So if they play WhataTwist, send it too hard, right? Then just look at their situation though. They'll have 2 cards in hand and 5 rods, and I'll have 13 cards on deck. So, not a terrible position from my side, but let's see what they have here. So yeah, so I think the only answer that they could have is WhataTwist, send it too hard, which they don't have. Okay, so again, so this kind of validates not putting Bunkus in the deck, even though Bunkus would have been nice. Honestly, I would rather have one more Coliseum. Like a Coliseum would have really locked out that game. So okay, cool. So we played our first game against Blue Mill, and now I will point out we didn't even play Coliseum. So this deck still is just your standard caffeine deck with with the bonus of LilExtrovert. So I think one thing that just makes this matchup good against blue is look, even if they cleared the board and I didn't have Bunkus. So let's just talk about that for a second. So if they cleared the board and I didn't have Bunkus, I would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, or I'd have 16 minus 3, 13 permanents on the board. So I'd have 13 permanents on the board and still 20 cards in my deck. So basically then I just need to I draw a card, I play something. Okay, so then let's say it's a penguin, which would be good. It'll get flopped. So I won't win that turn, but they will only have 5 cards. So they maybe play something, but that will also get flopped by the caffeine. Then I draw one more card and I play it. And then either at this point, I'll have 16 or 15, depending on if oh no, I'll have 15. And so then I can just use WhataTwist to unflop something and win the vibe check. So, um, yeah, the board clear just isn't so impactful against this deck. You have to board clear, and then they'd have to do something like maybe a Binkus or just to get like some big things on the board. But then I still have caffeine. So they probably would have needed to play Tina earlier on caffeine. So I think overall, I do think this is just a good matchup for caffeine in general if you have that explosive start. And this game also showed why you need the one drop. Like I was really resistant. I was at the beginning playing 4 balloons and 4 introverts, but you really need the one drop. Like if they don't have a one drop, you just start so quickly. And look, and again, look at extrovert. How many +1 counters did this provide? 8. It has 8 on it. So 4 of them came from extrovert. So if it wasn't for extrovert, like with extrovert, this actually now is bigger than a bashful swordsman. So even if they played like 2 bashful swordsmen on the final turn, I still would have been fine because the green mega penguin would have outscaled it. Okay, cool. Let's jump to the next game. All right. So looking at this next hand, I think we only keep the one drop just because we really want the green mega penguin. I mean, Coliseum, right? You can't keep the Coliseum in that situation. Okay, so hmm. Okay, so I'd like to keep okay, I'll put the TinaWhoTears down as the rod just because it's not part of the main line. Right? The main line is going to be Flying Penguin into Sneaky Penguin into Inspiring Story. So as long as they don't play a one drop, we'll be able to do that. Well, I guess the Sneaky Penguin with the penguin with balloons would be bigger. But if we need the TinaWhoTears, we do have the bounce house, so we can always get it back. So I think yeah, again, of all the decks, I do think Bounce House is even more important here in this deck. Okay, so Milkmaid again would be amazing. We'll play the second Inspiring as a rod because right, maybe we can actually get a 6/5 popcorn with the 2 Inspirings. So the Bounce House is giving us the flexibility to kind of go down that line if we need to. Right. Okay, so this is going to be, but it's looking like maybe this is going to be a bisbunk. If this is a bisbunk, then what happens? Well, we'll see if it's a bisbunk or if they're trying to, yeah, so it's a bisbunk. So if it's a bisbunk, I don't really think we need the popcorn line. So we'll keep the Coliseum just because Coliseum is very good against bisbunk. Okay, so I think we don't really need, yeah, I think the bounce house actually has to become the rod. Um, it's a little sad to put it down, but so we'll play the popcorn next turn because that way, whenever they play the ascending penguin, we'll be able to it'll basically lock them from playing the ascending. And yeah, so we don't have the green mega penguin, so that does mean that we're going to potentially be in trouble in the Coliseum world. So we're gonna play Coliseum in 2 turns, right? So this is interesting. Okay, so because I was talking with Top Hat Panda Magician, who's very skilled at this game, and we were having the discussion if Binkus is necessary in this deck or not. And so the conclusion was that it might be an overreaction and we don't need it. So we will see now. So this is a good showing here. So let's see. Right. So definitely Popcorn is the ideal card this turn, and then Coliseum is next turn. The only thing is, like, after we play Coliseum, we won't have um Zooming Penguin. I guess we don't really want the Zooming Penguin. Um Zooming Penguin could be interesting, I guess, to have as a rod. I mean, whatever we're getting, we're playing as a rod. So I think we'll still put the I think we'll yeah, I guess Zooming Penguin. Okay, sure. Let's take Zooming Penguin because it's like a utility card, and I want my rods to be as full of utility cards as possible. And there is a situation where Zooming Penguin could be useful. So I think I'd rather have it as a rod than something else. So if they play Ascending here, right, it will just get removed. So the question is, okay, so I'm not gonna be able to win this vibe check. So next turn I'm gonna play Coliseum, and we'll get rid of the. I guess we won't get rid of anything because we're gonna get rid of the Inquisitive Penguin with the popcorn. So yeah, so let's just see. So right, we have the Coliseum line. We should win this vibe check. They're gonna probably play like Study at Night and make a big ice. So the question is, do they have a way to deal with the Coliseum? Because I don't really see. Um, so if, like, they could have a TinaWhoTears off the top, right? Well, again, because the only thing that they can do is play something off the top. Now the thing is, they can't even play. They can't play what's it called? The one that you play from the ice. Um, the penguin who breaks the fourth wall. Like that can't even come out because even if it's on the top of your deck, right? Oh, and they're gonna have even less rods. So, oh, they might play Keep Digging. If they have Keep Digging, then that is going to wreck me. So, okay, so let's talk about Keep Digging. Keep Digging is such a good card against this deck because, like, if they keep digging the Coliseum here, I'm in such trouble. So, and they have 2 blue Pudge, but I guess Bisbunk doesn't really run that much other Pudge. But as blue, Keep Digging is a really, really good card against Coliseum. So let's see. So basically, this game is lost for me if I didn't have Coliseum here. So which is again why the 4th copy of Coliseum would be good. I don't need Penguin with balloons. So we play Sneaky Penguin. We play Coliseum. So okay, Zooming Penguin. Okay, well, I mean this is just going to go to our hand. So basically, they now only have 3 rods. So if this is a Bashful Swordsman, that'll be they can probably survive 1 turn. But look at the rod advantage of what's going on here. So if there's a Bunkus on the top of the deck, then I'm gonna have trouble dealing with that. But again, um, okay, well they got rid of my LilZoomer. Okay, well that's nothing to worry about. Because I still have 37 decks cards in my deck, so I don't really think I'm gonna get decked here. Plus, we already have the popcorn on board. Oh, so this is actually really nice because they get to decide if they want the card on the top of their deck or not. Right? So Penguin who's okay also is really great against Coliseum in that respect. Because right now, right at the beginning of their turn, they're getting to filter. Yes, okay, so they played a Bunkus, I guess from the top of the deck. So now I need an answer to the Bunkus because I do not have an answer to the Bunkus. Okay, so they play the Penguin who plays. Oh, you can't play from their hand. Okay, so I did not really understand how that worked. Okay, so that is possible to play. So I'm gonna start icing. Well, they're gonna have 2 Pudge anyway, so I'll ice the, Penguin who's okay, I guess. So, okay, so yeah, so okay, so the way that, they could manage this was by controlling the top of their deck using the Penguin who's okay. So that's kind of an interesting technique. Um, okay, getting rid of our, popcorn. So basically, I just need to draw, like, something good off the top of my deck. The good news is they have almost no rods. So, hopefully yeah, so, okay, so I didn't realize that, 4th wall you can actually play off the top of your deck, but, right, they did have to lose 2 rods for it. So the question is, are we gonna be able to deal with this, bunkus? And, okay, so Bashful Swordsman is good because Bashful Swordsman will enable us oh, no, but we're not gonna draw like, this is gonna be drawn, so we actually can't play it. Okay, well, they got rid of it anyway. Um, okay, well, Inspiring Story, we don't need that either. So, okay. So Popcorn Penguin will lose the Flying Penguin. Okay, so we don't want Inspiring Story, but I guess it doesn't really matter. We might as well just take this to our hand, right? Because we're not gonna be able to play it. Okay. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so I guess that's some weird bug. Okay, so let's just see. So we're getting popcorn. Okay, so we got a popcorn and a too much caffeine. Okay, so this is not gonna end. Okay, so Sneaky Penguin is a liability. I did not realize that. Okay, so we will get rid of. Okay, so we'll flop the bunkus, and I guess we'll get rid of the brainy with the popcorn. Mm, yeah, because I don't really care about what happens. Like their popcorn eventually will have to ice itself. Um, okay, I guess there's no point to play that. All right, so okay, so this sneaky penguin interaction, I've not run into this yet, which shows that I haven't played this deck that much. Okay, so we basically need to. Well, we'll need to rod a card from our hand in order to like play stuff. But yeah, the green mega penguin would be good because that would help us actually win the vibe check. So yeah, let's see. All right, so ascending penguin, not ideal. Um, but yeah, all we need to do is we need to win one vibe check. So a green mega penguin would be good. Oh, zoom penguin would be amazing. So LilZoomer is definitely a card that we would be. Wait, why are they playing? Was that from the top of the deck again? I guess that's from the top of the deck. Um, so I guess we have to play the rod here. Um, okay. So we play the TinaWhoTears, which is going to remove their. Um, okay, so I'm gonna flop the 2 bunkuses. Um, and then I'll remove. Okay, so TinaWhoTears was amazing because it was one vibe, which basically did the same thing Inquisitive does. So I'm not gonna run out of cards in my deck. So what do I actually need to win this game though? So I need basically. So let's just double check. They have no. They have no bunkus left in there. So, um, if a bunkus comes, it's from the top of the deck. Okay, so that must be from the top of the deck when they're playing the bunkus. Okay, Coliseum, not bad to not have him. So then if they somehow remove my Coliseum, I can just replay it. Although I guess at this point, it really doesn't matter. So I just need to, if I can flop this, if I can get one more caffeine, I'll be in a good state. Um, and yeah, how many cards are in their deck? 17. Okay. Well, it's gonna be hard for them to win with Bismo, right? Because if they play Bismo, it would have to be like the very last card in their deck. So maybe this ascending will be a liability for them. Although I think I still want to remove it just to get their pudge down. All right, so let's see. Um, yeah, we'll take the bounce house to our hand. Okay, so we'll play the Lil with balloons, I guess. We'll play the GreenMegaPenguin on the FlyingPenguin. We'll play the other caffeine. Okay, so I think we'll play the LilMilkmaid. Why not? Okay. So as you can see, so LilMilkmaid is 10 actually. Okay, so this I think should be enough. All right. So I guess Top Hat Panda Magician was right that you do not need Binkus. So this was, I think they had about as um good of reaction. Like they got some good top decks. They actually were able to almost swing the game back in their favor. And maybe it's not over. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but I think it's looking close, or it's looking like it's pretty good for me because they don't have any pudge. Maybe they have a WhataTwist. Again, I was able to play the WhataTwist from the top of my deck, but I don't think you're allowed to. I think that's a bug, but I think it has to do with SneakyPenguin. Um, that maybe SneakyPenguin somehow puts it in a weird state. So, all right, so we were able to pull it out. So, okay, so here you can just see Coliseum just on its own, just completely bisbunk just really struggle. Like I am shocked at how much they were able to actually resist. I thought like Coliseum would be an auto lose. But I guess to some degree it kind of was because they went down to 2 rods and I mean I did have really good top decks. I got like the popcorns, I got all the caffeines. Um I finally got the green mega penguin. Maybe that's a bit late in the deck, but yeah, this was okay, so I guess right, you can see here also part of the reason why Coliseum is such a strong deck. So we basically had here yeah, we had the perfect curve into Coliseum. We didn't even have green Mega Penguin, and it just came later. But just right, Bizbunk just, I guess, really struggles to deal with Coliseum because I really think that was about as good as it could have gone. I guess I didn't see the Bashful Swordsman. Bashful Swordsman would have been really nice before the caffeines because it would have removed the bunkus. I guess I could have flopped or played Adventure Squad. So anyway, all right, let's jump to the next game. Before we jump into the next game, I did want to say that I was talking with Alexi after the previous game in Discord, and they were saying that they basically had an issue where they weren't able to play cards on the top of the deck in that previous game. So potentially that would have even been a loss had that bug not occurred. Because I didn't realize they were locked out like that. Because right near the end, they didn't do anything on the last maybe turn or two. I don't remember the exact situation. So yeah, so maybe that would have even been a loss. Not sure. But okay, so let's jump to the next game. So we keep the one. I think we keep one like this. So we definitely, do we want to keep the popcorn? That's the question. Or do we want to go straight for Mega Penguin? Because I already have 2 1 drops. So we're gonna have the fast start. I think we look for the Mega Penguin. All right, so let's see. So we don't. Yeah, I think because we're gonna have a fast start probably. With the balloon and the inspiring story. So the Zoomers might be able to buy us some time. Um, yeah, I just feel like popcorn is not as strong as popcorn used to be. So popcorn now, of course, if this is yellow, I'm gonna greatly regret not having popcorn. But again, right, they could also be playing yellow in the deck. But yeah, because against yellow, basically we need popcorn. So the question is, so this is also why you have to keep balloon, even if you have the one drop, because if they have their own one drop. Um, okay, so we'll play a zoomer as a rod, just because that will give us the ability to, with a bounce house, get it back if we need it. Although I'm wondering if this is the mirror or yeah, this is the mirror. Okay. So in the mirror, all right, so Zoomer could be useful. Bashful Swordsman is definitely useful. So we might grab that with a bounce house. It's gonna be a while. So Milkmaid. So if they have Milkmaid next turn. So the question is, well, so ideally I can get my hand size down a little. But okay, so popcorn would have been not useful. So I guess it's good. It's good that we cycled away the popcorn. We mulliganed that away. So let's see here. So what a twist. Okay, so what a twist will be the card. So what a twist with bashful later will be good. So this is a little sad because we're gonna lose the vibe check to Milkmaid. But I don't really see. Well, we couldn't have really done anything about that. Like we wouldn't have kept the second little with balloons for that reason. So let's think about our 3-drop here. Would we have preferred a Milkmaid here or a Sneaky Penguin? It's kind of close because Milkmaid would let us play into Inspiring Story. Okay, that is an aggressive play. But if they have the Green Mega Penguin, that's actually a play that might be worth doing. So in this case, Sneaky Penguin would have been better because Milkmaid can't keep up with the Bashful. So they don't have. So I'm assuming we're going to see the Green Mega Penguin come out. So if the Green Mega Penguin comes out, then right, we basically just yeah. So this is one of the criticisms is that the mirror match seems very coin flippy. So I think for the mirror batch, I mulliganed as good as I could, right? I kept the 2-1 the 2 early game, which I think you have to do. And then I mulliganed everything else looking for Green Mega Penguin. So I don't have Green Mega Penguin yet though. Now it doesn't mean it's lost. I have 2 WhataTwists with the okay, they don't have Green Mega Penguin either. So maybe it's not all lost. Okay, so now we have Milkmaid. Now, ironically, Milkmaid at this point is useless because it's only 2 vibe. So, and then they can actually ice it. So, I'm not gonna play Milkmaid. Maybe there's a world where I can get Bounce House with well, I'm gonna be losing the vibe checks. So, well, but okay, even though I'm losing the vibe checks, Bounce House is gonna be good with a swordsman. Flying Penguin is not the end of the world because there's a chance I need to empty my hand quickly. So I need to just be able to keep up with their hand. Okay, so Milkmaid can go. Okay, so I'll just play Story. Um, Now if they have a popcorn, it's going to be annoying. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to keep up with. Yeah, so the way I'm going to win this is with Bashful Swordsman, I think. So as long as I can keep the Bashful Swordsman big enough, I should be able to on what they think is their final turn, play LilZoomer to bounce back the penguin with balloon to buy one more turn, and then hopefully I'll have enough. So that means I just need to get my hand emptied. I don't really want to play the other flying penguin unless I have to, because that means that a popcorn is going to be a problem. All right, continuing to stack inspiring stories is good because if I ever get the green mega penguin, that's going to be a very useful card to have. So okay, so LilExtrovert. Okay, so maybe I'll just drop that with the zoomer this turn. 12. Okay, so right, because I need. Well, okay, so the next turn they're going to be at. No, because I want to do the zoomer next turn. The reason I want to do the zoomer next turn is to just basically buy one more turn. So I think I need to go full out. Yeah, so I think we go zoomer next turn, and then the final turn is going to be like bashful. So I think we're gonna play the flying as well. We're just trying to get to we need to get to 15 permanents for the bashful to work. And so that means that, yeah, in order to get to 15 permanents for the bashful to work, I need 2 more turns. And so next turn, so what are we really weak to? We're really weak to a popcorn. But I guess if the popcorn comes, I can just bounce the popcorn. Then I might have enough. And on the final turn, what's going to happen on the final turn? On the final turn, we are going to have what will happen on the final turn? On the final turn, we will do sneaky and bashful. So I think we're probably okay. Although we're going to get a lot of cards in our hand because we're going to draw 2 cards a turn because we're not keeping up. So okay. So if they get a popcorn now, we can counter popcorn it. So that's fine. Okay. Oh no, but we need to. Okay, so we need to hear LilZoomer. So we LilZoomer. We LilZoomer the extrovert, and I guess TinaWhoTears would be better than Sneaky. Okay, so then yeah, okay, so we do that. Or I could have played the bounce house that turn. I should have played the bounce house. That was a mistake. I should have because I'm gonna bounce house the bashful no matter what. Well, I guess if I drew another bashful. So yeah, my bashful will be bigger than the green mega, right? I might have to TinaWhoTears. Oh, but that's okay because I can TinaWhoTears. So TinaWhoTears to get rid of the inspiring story. So I think will I get this? I think well, if they get a bashful, then we're in trouble. No, because our bashful will be bigger. So we have our own green mega here, but it's too late for green mega. So let's see. Yeah, so we'll have to do um okay, penguin who bakes. Okay, so that doesn't matter. All right, so we need oh, so we drew a bashful. So okay, so we can do bashful. Well, do we just want to do 2 bashfuls? Okay, well, so what is this gonna be? It's gonna be a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So our bashful will be bigger. Okay, so we'll definitely play 1 bashful. We're gonna play 1 bashful. And I think we bounce house rod. Yeah, we bounce house rod the other bashful because they only have 1 thing to flop. So I think we should be okay. Unless I'm missing something. Theoretically, this should be good, right? Um, maybe they have a yeah, I guess if they have a Gotham. Oh no, if they have a Gotham, we have yeah, so I think we're good. Unless I'm missing something. Because our Bashful Swordsman is gonna be at 18. Alright, so this game here shows the power of the Bashful Swordsman WhataTwist combo. So we were going to lose. Like, we didn't get the GreenMegaPenguin. Ironically, nobody got a Coliseum. Well, or maybe they chose not to play it. Um, so yeah. So okay, so keep this in mind as you're playing this matchup. Like, I was behind, and then because of Bashful Swordsman, I was able to win. So, Bashful Swordsman with What a Twist. Again, like the second Bashful was nice. But without the second Bashful, I would have well, without the second Bashful, I would have been 1 less permanent. So I needed to draw the Bashful. So I would have been able to buy 1 turn. So okay, so I actually needed to draw the Bashful off the top. Um so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So maybe if I played the bounce house the turn before to get the bashful, I'm not sure. Um, either way, I probably should have lost that because also if they had bashful twist, we would have lost to that, and I'm sure they have a twist because they have all these rods. So anyway, I think that one was maybe a bit lucky on our side, but on the other hand, we didn't get the green mega penguin, and they did. So we'll see. And something else from that game we just watched is they were playing Penguin Who Bakes. So again, I don't know what list that is exactly, what they're cutting. So maybe I'm wrong here, and the penguin who bakes needs to go in. So if you know that list, please share it below and let me know what I should be cutting. Also, getting the fourth extrovert in could be interesting. So after playing some games, though, I'm pretty happy. Like LilZoomer was required to win that game. So LilZoomer, I really think we want two copies of that. But anyway, so overall we played 3 matches. I'll say we won 2.75. I think that bisbunk matchup, maybe we would have lost. So I still think we were in a good spot in it. So I don't know, anywhere between 2.5 and 3 wins. So overall, I think, right, I made this deck to show or part of the reason I made this video is to show the weaknesses of the deck. But I guess so far we didn't see any. I do think I drew pretty well. But yeah, I still stand by my statement that there's a counter deck out there that's going to absolutely have a crazy win rate against this. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.